There was silence one night in Fort Worth until someone shot. And a name that was once thought to be unbeatable almost lost everything in an instant. The fame that Richard Rawlings used to have as the mind behind Fast and Loud and the man who made the Gas Monkey garage business. Check it out. I hope that today will be a big play day for me. Oh, and Chase and Gas Monkey, of course. Add a heading. It's tight. As long as you went in from the front, it looked fine, but then you had to beat it up, press it down, and bend it. But behind the spotlight are a lot of horrors that no one has seen. Don't turn away, because what's coming next is not a story of victory. It's the story of how an American TV star falls to their lowest point. Richard Rawlings was born on March 30, 1969, in Fort Worth, Texas. His father, Ray Rawlings, has a deep love for classic cars and making changes to them, so he was introduced to cars when he was young. At area car shows and get-togethers for fans. Richard became interested in engines and custom cars very quickly. He bought his first car, a 1974 Mercury Comet, when he was 14 years old and started learning the basics of how to fix cars. In 1987, Richard Rawlings graduated from Eastern Hills High School in Fort Worth. He then worked at different places to make money. Before he turned 21, he worked as a firefighter, a police officer, and a nurse. His plan was to save enough money to satisfy his love of cars. These jobs also helped him get better at responding quickly, staying disciplined, and working in high-pressure situations, all of which were later seen as important to how he managed people during his rise to fame. Richard Rawlings faced a fateful event when he was 22 years old. When someone stole their car in Fort Worth. He was shot while trying to protect a 1965 Ford Mustang Fastback that he had fixed up himself. He wrote about it in his autobiography, Fast and Loud, Blood, Sweat, and Beers. The bullet went through his shoulder and left arm, leaving him in serious condition in the hospital. Although specific medical records have not been made public, Rawlings said that this event had a huge impact on how he saw life afterward. After the event, he didn't go after criminal charges and wouldn't talk to the public much for the next 20 years. Still today, it's one of the few known events in his life that directly put his life in danger. Some experts think Rawlings may have had post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, even though he didn't say much about how it affected him mentally. A lot of people say that his fast work rate, careful oversight of car projects, and strong responses to negative stimuli are all secondary signs of this condition. As of now, neither Rawlings nor any medical experts have officially confirmed that he has such a diagnosis. 3 years after the event, in Texas, Rawlings married Karen K. Grams. The marriage ended quickly after less than a year. Not much is known about this relationship. At the time, there were no major property disputes, no public comments from either side, and no news coverage. In later talks, Rawlings has never talked about his first marriage. This has led to rumors that he either wanted to keep it a secret for personal reasons or that it didn't have much of an effect on his public image in the years that followed. From 1994 to 1999, Rawlings limited his direct role in the auto industry in order to focus on his own business ventures. He started Lincoln Press, a business that prints and advertises. Small and medium-sized businesses in Texas could get help with commercial printing and branding from this company. During his time in charge, Lincoln Press ran smoothly and made enough money for him to save up for future business ventures. In later interviews, Rawlings said that printing wasn't really his thing, it was just a way for him to get back to the auto business on a bigger level. Even though there weren't any big breakthroughs during this time, it is seen as a key point in building his personal base. Richard Rawlings had not been in any major news outlets since the late 1990s. Still, those early years of personal turmoil and real-life experience helped him be strong when he had to deal with public criticism and the pressures of the entertainment business. Cracked glory. Richard Rawlings sold Lincoln Press in 2002 and opened Gas Monkey Garage in Dallas, Texas. The shop started out by repairing and customizing old cars. It later became a well-known brand among American car fans thanks to its bold designs inspired by hot rods and clear branding strategy. When Rawlings merged craftsmanship with showmanship and entertainment through reality TV, Gas Monkey Garage went through a period of rapid growth. 10 years later, Fast and Loud made its debut on the Discovery Channel, introducing Richard Rawlings and the Gas Monkey team to people all over the world. The show quickly became one of Discovery's most popular in the 2010s, showing over 300 episodes in more than 200 countries. Its simple hosting style, unique garage images, and strong personalities of team members helped it become so popular. During the highest point. Because Fast and Loud was so famous, Richard Rawlings went through a lot of personal changes. He married Suzanne Marie Mergiel in Las Vegas in 1999. It took 10 years for this second marriage to end in divorce. Even though there were no big legal disputes over assets, people close to the couple say that the stress of running Gas Monkey and filming the show hurt their relationship. Rawlings and Suzanne got married again in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, in 2015. The media paid attention to this reconciliation because Fast and Loud was growing steadily and Rawlings had just put out his first book. The second marriage to the same person did not last long either. After many years, Rawlings said on social media that he and Suzanne were getting a second divorce. At the end of the case, terms included a $300,000 payment and the transfer of a car from Rawlings. People who saw the breakup say that a busy schedule, pressure from the media, and different life goals were major causes. Around the same time, Gas Monkey started to make changes on the inside. A big part of the show and the lead technician, Aaron Kaufman, quit Gas Monkey Garage and Fast and Loud in 2017. In later talks with Motor Trend and on social media, Kaufman said that he was leaving because of differences in the pace of work and the direction of the project. The event caused a lot of debate among fans right away, with many thinking that the two had been having a rough relationship for a while and Kaufman's leaving was the end of long-term problems. Kaufman leaving was seen as a big loss for Gas Monkey in terms of both technical knowledge and company image. Losing a loyal team member from the beginning changed the way the team worked together and made later seasons of the show less efficient. From 2015 to 2019, Rawlings' life went through two very different phases. On the one hand, he built his personal brand and got big advertising deals with well-known car companies. But he was also going through a lot of personal problems and his team was losing, which made people wonder how he could stay stable in a model that was both creative and based on reality TV. In later interviews, Rawlings said that he was under a lot of stress because he was in charge of a global business, filmed for months at a time, and dealt with the media and social media. Some media experts said that after 2017, Rawlings' public persona became more reserved. He appeared on personal platforms less often and only spoke out when it was important. Fast and Loud kept showing, but it wasn't being made as quickly as it used to be. Changes were made to the team, episodes got shorter, and Rawlings' social media activity seemed to be slowing down. Fast and Loud stayed Gas Monkey's most popular product and helped the company grow around the world. However, the company was going through a time when pressure was greater than new ideas. The bad things about being famous. It was 2016 when Rawlings opened a diner in northern Dallas called Richard Rawlings Garage. This restaurant-bar hybrid with classic cars was meant to get Fast and Loud fans. The event had steady crowds at first, but the business plan wasn't sustainable because it wasn't making enough money to cover costs and marketing efforts weren't as effective as hoped. It had been open for 3 years when it closed. Rawlings didn't make an official comment about the closing, but he did say in interviews that it was an investment that was made at the wrong time. At the same time, Gas Monkey Live, a music club, had trouble keeping up with regular operations. Even though it hosted big concerts by bands like Mötley Crüe, it had to close permanently because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the tough competition in the live entertainment business. Local news outlets said that venue lease agreements were not renewed, and after late 2019, Rawlings stopped investing in this business plan. At the same time, Fast and Loud started to get into trouble over how it made its music and whether or not its projects were real. A lot of people on Reddit and Facebook groups said that some parts of the show were highly edited or staged to make them more dramatic. In particular, the The accusations were about some car projects that weren't fully finished by the Gas Monkey team and had help from a third party, even though the show marketed them as in-house work. On unofficial technical forums, some former workers who did not want to be named said similar things. Discovery Channel and Rawlings didn't officially respond to these claims, but some fans who were paying attention didn't trust the show because they weren't sure it was real. Reality TV production experts say that editing is often done to improve timing and excitement. But people expect a brand like Gas Monkey to be more real when it comes to real-world skills and technical ability. Besides problems with production, personal stresses grew. During an interview on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Rawlings said that he was often tired because he had been filming non-stop for almost 10 years, running multiple businesses, and keeping up a public image. He also said that Discovery often told him to change what he said, censor what he posted on social media, and stick to a nearly annual filming plan. Even though there aren't any official reports that show how much money the restaurant and entertainment businesses lost, the fact that 2 important models closed within 4 years and got bad reviews had a big effect on the Gas Monkey brand. On sites for reviews like Google and Yelp, many people said that Rawlings' new businesses didn't live up to the quality that was expected at the start. From 2018, Gas Monkey started to separate itself from Rawlings' public image, focusing on its goods and services instead of the founders' personalities. People thought this was a safe thing to do to lower the risks of a PR mess or image problem. Rawlings stayed in touch with the public through YouTube and social media, but he didn't show up as often at events covered by major media. Industry insiders told the Hot Rod Network and the Dallas Observer that the model of a host who becomes the CEO of a brand, like Rawlings, was hitting its limits because people wanted more openness and behind-the-scenes scale. These effects set the stage for the bad things that would happen to Rawlings in the next phase, which was his total collapse. The company that runs Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, GMR, sued Richard Rawlings and Gas Monkey Holdings in October 2018 for breach of brand licensing agreements, intentional sabotage of business operations, and damage to their image through public statements. The case asked for more than $6 million in damages, saying that Rawlings interfered with business without a good reason, used the media to put pressure on the company, and messed up internal operations. As proof, there were tense email conversations and social media posts that were seen as indirectly hostile. Rawlings denied all the claims and filed a countersuit, blaming GMR of trademark violations and lowering the value of the brand by using its name and images in a wrong way for business purposes. He asked for $1 million in damages and asked the court to think about taking away the partner's right to use the name. Legal papers weren't made public, but the Dallas Morning News and law firms that were following the case said the lawsuit went on for more than a year and ended with an out-of-court settlement, the terms of which are still secret. At the same time, Rawlings had problems with Discovery Channel, which produced and aired Fast and Loud. Rawlings' plans to grow his personal brand were hampered by years of arguments over content control, production schedules, and media clauses that limited what the artist could say. He said on the Joe Rogan Experience that his Discovery contract fined him $25,000 for every unauthorized public statement, such as social media posts that were bad for the partner's business. Rawlings said he had no control over his image and thought that the content filtering system that had been in place for decades stopped real fan contact. He also said that the pressures of production were making it harder and harder to make fast, loud material. Because of these things, he decided to end his contract with Discovery and end the show after 16 seasons. The last episode of Fast and Loud aired in 2020. Discovery Channel did not give a full explanation, but Rawlings said on a podcast that he would be working as an independent agent, focused on digital platforms and personal projects that were not limited by third parties. Fans had a range of responses. Some people said they were sad that the show ended so quickly, while others backed Rawlings' decision to break away from the TV system and make content on his own. Not only was leaving Fast and Loud a big deal for the media, it was also very important for business and strategy. Analysts think the show added a lot to Gas Monkey's brand value, especially through partnerships and license extensions in more than one state. Coming back from the ashes. As soon as the show finished, Rawlings put more videos on his YouTube channel, Gas Monkey Garage and Richard Rawlings. Video output slowly rose, and by late 2022, YouTube analytics showed that the channel had more than 1 million subscribers, showing steady growth. Rawlings started a personal show called Monkey Trap with his brother Richard Rawlings. It was regularly released on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and its target audience, mostly business owners and car fans, gave it good reviews. People saw this as a way to gain more power with older people, which would add to the ecosystem that was already centered on reality TV viewers. For the Gas Monkey name, Rawlings kept running the Dallas Garage and the Gas Monkey Bar and Grill in the area. Even though there were no big plans to grow, these businesses stayed open and continued to serve locals and tourists who were interested in the brand. According to Rawlings, the Gas Monkey Ice House will open again in May 2025 with a new hybrid model. It will be located at the Grandscape Complex, which is one of the biggest business entertainment hubs in Dallas-Fort Worth. This model should bring back the brand's history while also keeping up with customer trends after the pandemic. In addition to the garage, Rawlings put money into technical partnerships and sports contracts. Peter Hickman and the FHO racing team have been sponsored by Gas Monkey at the Isle of Man since 2022. This is one of the most famous and dangerous motorsport events in the world. Since 2015, Rawlings had been working on this project, but he couldn't finish it while he was working on Discovery. Notably, Rawlings held a number of sales on Bring a Trailer during this time for cars from his own collection. Even though there aren't any official numbers on the total value of the deal, many people think it shows a change toward investing in high-end modern cars like Lamborghini and Ferrari. People see the sales as part of a plan to make the most of personal assets and restructure capital so that the brand can grow. The amount of money Richard Rawlings is thought to have is about $18 million as of 2024. The Gas Monkey brand, sponsorship deals, YouTube, running a restaurant, and book profits are his main sources of income. Rawlings owns a house in Dallas that is worth about $1.7 million and is also where he films a lot of his YouTube videos. He has over 2 million followers on social media. 7 million followers on Instagram, 340,000 followers on Twitter, and almost 5 million likes on Facebook, keeping up their impact even after they stopped being on TV. In his personal life, he has been married to Katarina Dye's son since 2000 and there has been no bad news about them in the media since their wedding. Katarina doesn't run Gas Monkey herself, but people close to the couple say she helps make strategic choices behind the scenes, especially when it comes to personal branding, social media, and international partnerships. The couple doesn't have any kids together and instead works on personal projects and does small amounts of charity work in their community. People think that this later phase is more stable in terms of direction, control, and quality, even though it's not as exciting as the quick and loud era on Finding. Rebuilding on digital platforms has given content more freedom, direct interaction with fans, and a more stable brand ecosystem. Legacy of endurance. Rawlings changed the way people watch automotive material on TV, which is one of his most visible legacies. By adding fun, speed, commercial appeal, and his own personality to car material, he made a new model where viewers didn't need to know a lot about cars to be interested. This made it possible for networks like Velocity, History Channel, and YouTube to show similar shows. From a business point of view, Rawlings is one of the few companies in the car industry that has been able to successfully combine personal identity with business operations. Gas Monkey isn't just a garage, it's a whole environment. Because of this growth, smaller workshops were able to learn how to build brands that went beyond technical know-how. Even though there have been some disagreements about his franchise and licensing model, it is still a great example of how to make money in the craft technical area. He also left behind a significant strategic media impact. Rawlings was one of the first reality TV stars in the United States to switch from cable to large-scale digital entertainment. His success with podcasts, YouTube, and social media post-Discovery shows that an independent route can still make money with a strong community behind it. As cable audiences drop and more people watch content over the top, this model is becoming more common in the U.S. reality TV business. Before 5 years of rebuilding post-Fast and Loud, Rawlings was a star. Now, after more than 20 years in the public eye, he is not a star. Still, his legacy lives on. Even if they aren't controversial, the marks he left continue to shape a new generation of people who make digital content, invest in cars, and buy personalized tech goods. Richard Rawlings has made an effect on television, mechanical engineering, digital media, and consumer branding. He is no longer a host, but he is now a part of the history of the modern car industry. Reality TV stars like Richard Rawlings aren't the only ones who go through the cycle of fame, scandal, and healing. But Gas Monkey has been able to stay alive in a market that is changing quickly thanks to his proactive exit from traditional broadcasting, restructuring, and continued security afterward. Even though he was involved in some problems in the past, Rawlings is still one of the most important people of his age. If you're interested in in-depth studies of people whose stories change the way TV, entertainment, or business is done, subscribe to the channel to find out about new videos. Follow Fast and Loud and leave a comment if you liked it or if you have your own thoughts on how Richard Rawlings built and kept his personal brand.